In a city studded with legendary barbecue joints, picking a representative sample is a tough challenge. It helps to get input from a local, even if she's not a born and raised Kansas Citian.
It'll be 14 years
Right.
in August that I've been in Kansas City, and I
Right.
certainly call it home now.
Right.
And it has really come a tremendous distance in 14 years.
Celina Tio is a James Beard Award winner for Best Chef in the Midwest, and she's originally from Philadelphia. Now she operates 2 local restaurants, The Belfry and Julian. Celina is part of a small army of newcomers discovering Kansas City as a land of opportunity.
People can come here, you can live here. The
Oh, yeah.
cost of living isn't ridiculous. It's got a burgeoning art scene.
It's great. You know, my stock line for Kansas City is it has the convenience and culture of a much, much larger city, but the people are nicer.
Kansas City barbecue began here at Bryant's. Charlie Bryant worked alongside Henry Perry, the man who first introduced barbecue to Kansas City when he came here from Memphis in 1908. As the fame of Kansas City barbecue grew, Bryant's became the place for locals, tourists, and visiting VIPs. It's not even in the top 10 barbecue spots in town anymore, but I always have to stop in and grab some pit ham and a beef sandwich every time I'm in KC.
It is a slice of America. There's a handful of places on earth where you can see people from every walk of life all herded into one spot. This is one of them.
Yeah.
I need a pound of ham and a beef sandwich, no fries.
Beef sandwich, no fries.
We passed the first test, which was knowing what we wanted and not being yelled at.
I wouldn't yell at you.
I don't believe that.
Along with its vividly orange sauce, Bryant's is famous for its pit ham. Cooked with that low and slow barbecue style, then internally trimmed to remove the bone and excess fat.
The ham's great, and it's that classic soft brine. It's not salty. It melts in your mouth. Smoked beef on white bread. It's my thing. For generations, this place defined barbecue in Middle America. I mean, this was it.
The same African-American migration that brought Henry Perry north made Kansas City a melting pot for barbecue, incorporating a greater variety of meats and styles than any other region, and doing all of it exceptionally well.
For years, when everything was coastal, it was flyover country.
Yeah.
And now everybody is imitating what folks in towns like Kansas City are doing.
Kansas City excels at all varieties of barbecue, but claims credit for inventing only one: burnt ends. There's no better place to eat them than Joe's Kansas City Barbecue.
So you a big Joe's fan?
I am a big Joe's fan. Who's not a big Joe's fan?
If you're not a big Joe's fan, something is seriously wrong with you.
It's a restaurant and gas station, in homage to barbecue's roadhouse heritage.
The greatest thing in the whole world is that there's paper towels and little jars of mayonnaise and Frisbees and everything else a gas station,
We used to once think that the gig could be everything but ammo and bait.
It's
That's
fantastic.
it.
The place opened in 1996 as Oklahoma Joe's. The name changed when one of the original partners moved on, leaving Jeff Staney as the man in charge of what's considered one of the best barbecue restaurants in town.
How we looking on raw briskets, Miles?
Pretty good.
The biggest seller at Joe's is a brisket and onion ring sandwich called the Z-Man. But they take a lot of pride in their version of the city's most iconic meat, burnt ends. The way Jeff explains it, they began as just that, the brisket's unusable throwaways.
In the old days, they're cooking a lot more with live wood. This end might get a little too close to the fire, and parts of this get charred. And so they would take these ends, and the customers would come by and would grab them. And for years, they didn't charge them for them, and they just had that.
Today's burnt ends are neither free nor burnt, but at Joe's, they are still made with that stunningly fatty and delectable brisket cap. At Joe's, they now have to cut off the caps and cook them separately to keep up with the demand for burnt ends. They're smoked for 24 hours at precisely 205 degrees, with a dry rub applied before and after smoking. Then, they're ready to be cubed into bite-sized bits of juicy tenderness.
You get tons of bark, tons of flavor, tons of char, tons of smoke on it, and then it just melts in your mouth when you eat it.
It's beefy, super moist,
Super moist.
but nice crust on every bite. Now that I've seen the process of cutting the meat and the opportunity to rub again and then cook low is why you get that sugar salt thing at low temperature gives you that ham-tastic awesomeness.
This kind of food is simple, but not easy. The meat comes from hand-picked suppliers. Cooking times and temperatures are closely monitored and constantly tweaked.
Fries, onion rings, ribs, the long end.
Long end.
Did I get it
So
all?
on the ribs, do you want a half slab or a full slab?
Full slab.
Okay, then in another platter, we want burnt ends.
Do you know what this looks like? This looks like people that have never eaten before. This is a desperate cry for help is what this is. Everyone talks about your burnt ends, but I think your ribs are out of control.
Thank you. I think they're dynamite. One really, really simple rub.
Yeah.
And I think the real key here is sourcing really consistently good tasting hogs where they leave enough meat on the bone.
Barbecue in this town keeps getting better and more sophisticated while honoring its unpretentious origins.
I didn't create this menu because I thought other people would like it. I created this menu, and this food is what I like. And I got very fortunate that other people happen to like what I like.
And that's the best.
It is the best.
Here's where America learns to make and appreciate better barbecue. On any given weekend here in the Heartland, you can find summer festivals with a barbecue competition attached. Barbecue competition is not just fun. It can be a path to fame and fortune.
Grand champion, squeal like a pig barbecue.
One of the hottest new barbecue restaurants in Kansas City was inspired and paid for by the contest winnings of Rob Magee.
All the winnings that I did in barbecue, I applied that towards this restaurant.
Right.
And we were on a roll.
Once the kitty got full enough, you didn't have to rely on someone else, and you could be the master of your own destiny.
Rob graduated from the Culinary Institute of America and fell into working for high-end hotels around the country until one of those jobs brought him to Kansas City.
You started competing when you moved here
Correct, 14 years ago.
for fun?
Just for fun.
After years of trial and error, the victories started coming, and making barbecue became more than just a pastime.
If you were to ask me 14 years ago if I was going to open up a barbecue restaurant, I would have thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
But today,
Yeah.
after learning about this
Yeah.
cuisine and seeing such a huge opportunity in the marketplace
Yeah.
and in the nation,
Yeah.
I said, this is what I need to do to break into the market.
Q39 bridges rough and tumble barbecue traditions into an upscale environment of linen napkins and craft beer. What's more surprising, Q39 promises that every plate will come to the table at competition level. Every rib, chicken, or brisket has to meet a precise standard of taste and tenderness. The hardest part is the timing.
The one thing barbecue and fine dining have in common is that there's an ultimate moment. Everything sort of comes together and it's like, eat it now. So it's really important to keep these out and sort of hold the brisket at its optimum peak.
Once
right?
they rest and we get down to about 145 degrees, we then transfer it right into the warmer to keep it holding at the proper temperature.
Right.
On any shift, there's 7 people just working the line to give each piece of meat the kind of TLC that produces prize-winning results.
You want it tender, but still you want it to hold together.
Not to get too scientific, but that's perfection. When you can see those little muscles move and separate around the connective tissue, that's sick perfect.